Hi, this is your host, Kristen Howe. I'm so excited to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Esperanza Universal. Esperanza Universal is the co-creator and CEO of the Soul Institute, where she teaches people how to transform their lives with a simple and powerful system based on spiritual laws. Now, on today's call, you are going to discover spiritual laws that impact your manifestation results, when to apply the law of attraction principles, and why you still get what you don't want, how old beliefs and unconscious limiting blocks block you from manifesting, how to identify and remove limits and blocks, and 4 simple steps to apply to transform any situation from limitation to manifestation. Esperanza is here today to help you step into your own wisdom and realize the love and freedom of your essence. So, Esperanza, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the call.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm very, very excited about this opportunity. I love this information.
So I'm so excited to have you here, and I know you have a really unique story. So could you share that with us? Because I think people are going to be a little fascinated with what they hear about how you got where you are now.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the transition from the legal profession to the spiritual, or about?
I sure am, because that's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's very unique. I was a trial attorney, a civil litigator for many years. I loved it. I loved trial. I loved politics, and I was very focused on becoming the first Hispanic congresswoman. That was my goal and my vision, and that's what I was headed for. In fact, I was seriously considering it by the time that this profound spiritual experience happened to me while I was in trial in Superior Court. So what happened, I'm cross-examining a witness. It's a big case, and it's not my client. She's on the opposing side. That's why I'm cross-examining her. I'm in the middle of asking her some questions, and I'm very aware that she's not telling the truth. But I'm also pretty committed to not in any way hurting her unnecessarily, but I was going to get to the truth. So I was very conscious of that. All of a sudden, that was like the thought that I remember, the rational thought. And then what happened was I began to see angels above her in the courtroom. And I began to see spirit. And that's how I define it today. I didn't know what it was at the time. I wasn't religious. I wasn't spiritual. I wasn't even inclined. I was very, very traditional, very conservative, and I was not in any way spiritual or religious, although I had been as a child. I was very religious as a child. I'd been in many foster homes, so I was exposed to a lot of different religions, and so I was aware of it. But by the time I went to college, I had just dropped it all. So I wasn't exposed to it at all. I start to see spirit in the courtroom, and I think I'm going crazy. I think I'm having a mental breakdown. Like I had, didn't even know how to interpret it. I looked around. Nobody seemed to be seeing anything, so it felt like it was okay. So I continued making the motions and the objections to the judge and talking to the jury and the people, and all of a sudden I start getting all this information above the witness, like words or pictures, and the only thing I could think of was that they looked like what I saw as a child, that looked like pictures of angels. That's all I could think of. And so then I sit down with my senior partner, who is, I did not know this at the time, but she was very metaphysical and very spiritual, and she was into what they called transcendental meditation for many years. But she had never talked to me about it because I was too uptight. You know, she thought I didn't even have an opening for it, so she never talked to me. So I sit down, and she said, where did you get all the evidence? She said, our investigators don't have that evidence. We're at the counsel table in Superior Court, and I said, well, it's written above her head. And she said, wow, that's really nice. And she just kept taking notes like it was nothing. And I said, nice, it's crazy. I said, sounds crazy to me. And she goes, no. She said, it just means that your heart's open and you're connected to the universe, so you're getting information. I thought, this lady's nuts. I had no idea what she was talking about. So I thought that she was crazier than me. But she just kind of kept taking notes. It was no big thing to her. And then during the break, we broke for lunch, and she said, no, she said, you're just connected to the universe, so you're getting information. Don't get afraid of it. You're not having a breakdown. She said, you're just, for some reason, you're getting information on her, and her spirit world is connecting with you. Something really weird, really weird stuff. And so we go to lunch, and we're in San Diego, which has hundreds and hundreds of beautiful restaurants. Well, we end up at the same restaurant where this witness is, and I'm compelled to go talk to her, which you're not supposed to do, talk to the opposite side. And I said, I'm going to go see how she's doing. During trial, I had seen a ghost that looked like a man, a ghost, white ghost that I saw as a child, a ghost thing, walk up and touch this woman on her shoulder, the witness, on her right shoulder. And he talked to me. And he said, I'm her father, and I want her to know that I'm here. And I thought, I didn't know what it was. I heard this voice and practically choked because it scared me. And it was telepathic, a communication, but I didn't know at the time what that was. So I walked up to this witness. I was very, very curious about all this. And I, at the restaurant, and I said, how are you doing? And she said, I'm doing okay. She was kind of timid. She looked down, and she was talking. And then I said, are you close to your father? And she just burst out crying. And she said, yes. She said, we're very close. He just died a month ago. I said, he wants you. This is a lawyer talking to a client.
Right.
I said, he wants you to know that he was in trial with you. And she said to me, I know, I felt him touch my shoulder.
Whoa.
So that's all I needed. That's all I needed. That was direct evidence for a lawyer. You know, I saw it. She felt it. So that's all I needed. So that totally changed my life. I wanted to know, what is this? What is this realm that I can see? What is this voice talking to me? Because she had confirmed what he said. That completely shifted me. Shortly thereafter, left law. I left politics. I wasn't interested. My whole focus was, what is this spiritual realm? So that was 20 years ago. And ever since then, I've been communicating very freely with the other side and communicating with people's angels in the spirit realm. As often I speak to the social consciousness, which is the third dimension, the physical, I speak to the other side. But at that time, I was freaking out. I didn't know anything about it.
Wow.
That's
I mean, and that's why I wanted you to share that. That's quite a story, and I think it's so powerful for people to hear that you were closed off to that stuff.
I wouldn't even know enough to close off. I had never heard it. Like it was totally, except as a child, I heard religion, but
right.
I never heard them talking about spirit guides and all that stuff. It just totally was foreign to me. So that's amazing. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Must have been a prior agreement before I came. That's all I could figure.
Yeah, and I think that gives it even more impact, at least for me, in hearing your story. I'm like, wow, this is the real deal, because it found you, and for a second made you think you were going crazy. So
I really thought I was having a mental breakdown. That's all.
I'm sure.
Anything else? And I tried to be really cool because everybody else was acting normal. So I tried to be really cool, but I was freaking out. It was really crazy.
What have you done? Tell me a little bit about the Soul Institute and what you created then from all of this.
Okay, so SOUL stands for Systems of Universal Law. So that's what we teach, is we teach the spiritual laws, the universal laws, and how they impact on your daily life in a day-to-day way. It's not way out conversation. It's a very common layman's term. The masters came to me and they said, we would like for you to teach love and freedom. And I thought, oh yeah, sure. Here I was, raised in many, many foster homes as an infant. I was abandoned very, very young, and many institutions, and I had no idea what this love thing was. When they talk about freedom, I just didn't know what they were talking about. So they said, we're going to show you how to transform your life and how for you to remember your love and your divine essence, and we'd like you to share that with others when you're ready. So that's what the Soul Institute is we're sharing information that was given to me to transform me, to help others remember and return to their divinity while they're walking the physical body.
Wow. Okay. I love that. And what I think is so cool is that, you even said, Kristen, I love the subject matter of the series, the Manifest Everything Now. So what are some of the spiritual laws that you think we should know about that impact our actual manifestation results?
Oh, wow. There's beautiful laws. And one thing I want to say about that, Kristen, is they're absolute. They're always in operation. So you don't have to know about them. You don't have to understand them. You don't have to believe in them, nothing. They're operating. The more we remember that part of ourselves and we accept it and work within the spirituality of us, then everything has to be easy and abundant, and we have to be able to manifest quickly and easily. But when we interrupt that and we resist it and we forget and we don't pay attention to our heart, our soul, our spirit, our divine essence, that's when things are tough. That's when we get into lack. That's when we get into chaos and pain and stress. And there's many laws that are always in operation, just like the law of gravity, which is a physical law, which we all know that if you drop a ball or keys down, they're going to go down. They're not going to go up. The law of gravity. So we have spiritual laws that are just like that. You work within these laws and remember your connection to Source, and everything has to be easy. For example, the law of gratitude. You have to absolutely have gratitude for who you are as a divine being and for what you have in order to be received. You can't just want to take. It won't happen. There has to be a giving and a receiving. And you have to have a law of appreciation, a law of expectation, that when you ask, it is received. You have to have all of these laws. You have the law of abundance, which says that there's plenty of everything, even money, in the universe. All we have to do is remember the wholeness within us, and we will attract what we ask for. There's a law of attraction, of course. And then there's a law of reflection that says, oh, if you don't like the relationships around you and you don't like how it's working and you're not getting the support and the love that you think you deserve, look within, because it's a reflection of what the relationship you don't have with you is being mirrored to you on the outside. So all these laws are always in operation. So you have to, with love and with acceptance of yourself, look just objectively at what are your results, and is that what you want? And if it's not, then you just go back in. The kingdom of heaven that you seek is inside of you. Remember that. Remember you, so that you can manifest easily what you desire. And all these laws are always flowing with us. And if you're resisting the laws, then you create the result you don't want. You create unconsciously what you don't want. When you think you want something, but you're not creating that, it's because unconsciously you're creating your result.
Interesting. Okay, you mentioned the law of attraction. Well, one of the questions that has come up quite a bit from the people who are listening to these calls is, so law of attraction, it's everywhere. Is this just hype? Is this just a sales thing? That's the first question I want to ask you. When people say that, and I get why they say it, what's your response to that?
Well, the law of attraction is absolute law, and it says like attracts like. So you will attract to you the energy that you are, the vibration that you are. And that's done very lovingly. That's not in any way undermining or attacking. That's just saying you will attract to you what you are. So you can do all the things on the outside that's been given to us by many masters. You can do vision boards. You can do affirmations, meditations, prayers. You can do anything and everything, imagining, visualizing, to attract what you think you desire. But if you're not clear as to who you are inside of you, then you can be asking for something but getting the opposite, because it's your energy, your belief systems that are inside that are going to tell the universe what it is you really want. So you can say, for example, I'd like to create $1 million. And you're really serious about it, and you are working and working and working and putting in the time and putting in the hours and getting the right people around you, and you're doing everything to attract it. But inside, you know that you're not worthy. You absolutely know you're not lovable. You can't do it right. You don't respect and appreciate you. You don't get time for you. So you're telling the universe, I'm worthless and I'm lack. So the universe is saying, oh, okay, if that's what you want, then that's what you attract. So that's why you have to be in harmony with spiritual laws. Like, if you have belief systems where you have learned, I'm inadequate, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, which are very common themes with people, lack of self-worth, you have to touch that, very lovingly touch that, and bring it to the present moment and choose differently. Heal it, love you, get to know you, appreciate you, and remember your wholeness within in order to attract to you on the outside what you really want. And that's why people will attract relationships that just don't work. Well, that person doesn't respect me. They're not supporting me. They don't hear me. And when they leave the relationship and they attract the same thing, different body, same thing, different body. Because of their own belief system, they're attracting how they feel about themselves. So they have to heal themselves and transform themselves. And that's what the Soul Institute does, is teach you how to walk through the depth of the obstacle into the heights of your divine essence.
I love that. I think that's so beautifully said, and such an accurate way of saying it, too. And I agree with you. The law of attraction is absolute. It's just people are getting frustrated when they're consistently attracting what they don't want. And what I always say is, but you are attracting that. So the law of attraction is working. It's just you want to flip it around.
Yeah, it's working. And they're getting the results that they're unconsciously asking for. So they have to become very conscious of what's in the unconscious. What beliefs did you hear? What did you hear? What innuendos? What did you buy as a child that was your identity that's not you at all? and go there and change that. That's when the universe can give you what you really are, which is you're a whole, you're a divine being, you're love. That's your essence.
Yeah, I love what you said. If within you, you know that you aren't worthy, because that's what it feels like. I mean, the truth is that you and I can look at everybody and go, everybody is worthy, and we're all magnificent, extraordinary creatures. But if within you, your beliefs are so strong that you feel certain, would you say that those are the old beliefs and unconscious limits that are blocking us? Is that primarily what's getting in the way of us manifesting what we do want?
It's our belief system. It's the behaviors, the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, the patterns that we adopted very young that we think are true, and they're not. They're just our perceptions at that time. Like as a foster child, I was in foster homes from infancy, and I was tossed around like every 6 months or so.
Wow.
So many homes, many institutions, and completely feeling unwanted, unloved, unseen. I felt fat. I felt dark. I felt dumb. But I was producing. I ended up getting a college degree and a master's degree and a law degree. So I was out there doing, but nobody was home. I wasn't really loving and connecting to me. I just ignored it and kept making success on the outside until this happened. And then I started saying, okay, back up. There's this little foster kid who feels unloved and doesn't trust. I got to heal her, bring her into the present moment, and teach her how lovable and adorable and precious and whole she is as a divine being, and feel that with her and let her evolve from within into the divinity that we are, and then manifest from that place. So now I just attract what it is that I want because I know that I'm whole.
But I would imagine then the things that you manifest externally on the physical plane are that much more fulfilling, or actually fulfilling at all, because now you're whole from the inside. You're sort of creating from the inside out. Is that a good way of putting it?
Absolutely. And you really know that you have all that you need because you are, and that anything that you need will be there when you need it, because you remember that you're a divine being.
Yes, and everybody hear those words. You remember you're a divine being, because it's so true. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. I'm so passionate about the fact that we are all so magnificent and we are extraordinary. And, one of my other things is it's never too late. I think there's people running around thinking it's too late at all stages of life. So I love the message that you're bringing to us. So I appreciate that. So what do we do? There are people listening who they're struggling. There's a lot of struggle going on. So Esperanza, I'm blocked. Okay,
great.
I don't know how. I don't necessarily know where I'm blocked. I just know I'm blocked because I can look at what I'm creating in my life. So what do they do? What's the first thing they can do?
That's awesome. First of all, is I would look at the results in my life, like in relationship, with money, with business, with career, vision. What are the results? And is it what I want? And get really, really clear, is this really what you want? Are you just tolerating something? Are you at a job because you need money but not because you love it? Are you betraying yourself in that way? So you look at your results and say, okay, is this what I want? And no judgment. No judgment is allowed, no blame, no shame, nothing, because you're a divine being and you are the source of all your experiences. So you're creating it. So just love you and it's okay. The result's okay. But you want to change it. What you want to do, number one, is you want to be in harmony with spiritual laws. And what does that mean? That means that you want to love yourself as a divine being, accept yourself and know yourself, and know that you're whole from within. And you have to first of all, number one is make a conscious choice that you do desire to change and grow. You want to transform your life, and that's a conscious choice, lovingly and accepting you with no judgment. Number two is you want to commit. I absolutely am ready and willing to commit to whatever it takes for me to grow and evolve me from within. You're going to make things different. You absolutely are committed to that. And number three is in the physical experience, you have to take action. You have to be willing to let go of whatever no longer serves you, no matter what it is. That means people, situations, beliefs, thoughts, feelings that no longer support you, they are out the door. Now, I don't mean stomp on them, and I don't mean bury them, because they're going to show up unconsciously. You have to bring them to the present moment and heal them so that you can walk as a divine being that is whole and love, because your essence is love, peace, and joy. That's who you really are. You want to make a conscious choice, you want to make a commitment, and you want to take action. How do you love you? How does it look when you're loving you? What makes you happy? What brings you peace? That's what you look at. That's the action. And then take responsibility. Take responsibility under all circumstances that you're creating it, and you can discreate it and uncreate it. You are source of your experience. Nobody did anything to you. Nobody can. It's your interpretation and your perception. So you love you, you know you free you from within responsibly. And then you can manifest, because the universe has to listen to your emotional body. The barometer that the universe sees is your emotional body. That's how it measures what you want. So you get in alignment with love, peace, joy, and that's what you have to attract. That's how you become in harmony with spiritual laws. Okay, and then I'd like to give you 4 steps to transformation. And these were given to me to help me, and they're awesome. They're awesome.
Okay.
I put them in very simple language. They were given to me in old language. I try to make them very simple, okay? The first, number 1, is be aware of your pure feelings. And that doesn't mean like reactions, like jealousy, competition. That means pure feelings like sadness, anger, fear, loneliness. Just be aware. Don't judge it. Don't blame it. Don't shame it. It's just there. It's a human experience. Everybody has it. Be aware. If you bury the feelings like some positive thinkers promote that you might, what's going to happen is the feeling's going to run you, and you're not going to even know it's there. You're going to keep creating what you don't want because you're burying your fear rather than healing the fear. So you want to be aware of what is the feeling. Now, slightly, and notice I said slightly, this is crucial. Slightly trace the feelings, if you can, to an origin. Like, my feeling inadequate and dumb and stupid came as being a foster kid who was tossed around and feeling unloved and unwanted. That's all. I just get the very quick awareness, bring it to the present moment. I am love. I am peace. I am joy. I'm a divine being. So you slightly trace it. Do not dwell on it. Do not make decisions on feelings. Do not build your life on feelings, because they come and go. They're not your essence. They're just a human experience. But you want to be aware of them. If you trace them, if you can, and if you can't, don't worry. It's just a pure feeling. Bring it now to the present moment. That's step number 3. So number 1 is be aware. Number 2 is slightly trace it. If you can't, don't worry about it. Bring it to the present moment. Who am I today? I'm a loving being. I'm powerful. I'm a divine being. My essence is love, peace, and joy. That's who I am. Bring it to the present moment. That's number 3. Number 4, make a conscious choice that you are going to choose differently now. So you bring the past to the present. I'm making a different choice today. I'm a divine being. I am whole. I can have anything I desire by just remembering my divine essence. So you make a conscious choice to choose differently. That's number 4. If you want a different result, you have to choose differently. You have to also commit to your new choice. That means you're not going to allow yourself to feel that you're less than, no good, unlovable, unworthy. You're not going to allow that anymore. That's a past tape. You come into the present and change that tape, make it different, and then take specific action towards that. Start loving you, start listening to you, start doing what you love, hanging around people that support you, not ones that don't. And just totally shifts. You want to be aware. That's number 1. Slightly trace the feeling. That's number 2. Number 3 is bring it to the present moment. And number 4 is make conscious choice to choose differently and take action. Now, those are powerful steps. When we're doing the soul programs, we will have like 50 different things to do. But these are the really crucial core things. And we have been allowed by the spiritual masters to take it out to the public now. We were not allowed to for many years.
Wow, that's interesting. I have a question for you. When people are coming to Soul to speak with you, what would you say is the major struggle that you see most often? Is it money? Is it health? Is it, what is it?
I would say mainly what we're seeing is I get a lot of people who just want to go higher spiritually. They want to really know their divine essence. They want to open up their energy centers. They want to be clairvoyant. Some of them is that. I would say 20-25% is just wanting to go higher spiritually. Generally, they will come in with 2 or 3 issues. Relationship issues is huge. And that's family, that's work, that's whatever, intimate relationships, that's really big. Another really big one is money. They think they're working really hard and not manifesting the money that they would like, so they want to break through there. And then many of them are in transition. That's a big one now. Their jobs are no longer making sense. Their world is no longer making sense. They know there's something more, and there's something missing, and they want, what is it? So a lot of them have transitions in their lives, like they're leaving one profession into more of a spiritual realm, which is what happened to me.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because there's definitely there's a shift going on. We are in a physical world, so people still want more money and, you know, great relationships and health and all of that. But I think you're right. I think there's, within that, they're not just seeking that. They're seeking the fulfilled version of that feels great.
You no longer just go for success. I don't meet those people. I meet the ones that want fulfillment. They want wholeness, and there's something more. What is it? So, Kristen, I think it's so exciting. I think we're in the middle of a spiritual revolution right now. I think
I agree.
The Earth and the planet is shifting higher and higher into love, and anything that is not of love has to fall. So what we're calling the disasters, like the economic system, the joblessness, the home, the housing crisis, what we're calling a crisis is just a shift of consciousness. We're going higher and higher into love, and whatever is not love has to shift. So when we see an economic crash, what's really happening is we're shifting from greed and separation to union and oneness. People helping people, countries helping countries, which never had before.
Right.
It's just a shift of consciousness, and I think it's exciting that we're here and that we're all awakened and we're all here to heal ourselves and help everybody else remember themselves as a spiritual being.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because that's how I feel. That it's like, oh, this is exciting, because this is a time of opportunity for our whole selves to shift, you know, and change can be scary, but you're right. It is exciting. And I love that you said that, because it's a different way of looking at it, that I think when people really truly find a way to adopt being excited about it, even if it's scary, but just to be excited about it, that really can make all the difference in the world. We are here on a physical plane. What is your feeling? Do you think it's great to be happy and healthy and full of love and have money and success? Because I believe in the full thing. We are here to experience the world in a physical way. So what are your feelings on that?
Well, I think the main thing is that, of course, money is energy like everything else, and we are here and we have a right to be abundant in every way, including lots of money. I like millions of dollars.
You know what? I want you to say that again. What did you say? We have a right to be abundant.
We have a birthright to be abundant because we're a divine being. We're whole. But we are not supposed to have lack and pain. We're supposed to have wholeness and peace and joy. Our essence, which doesn't change, our essence is love, peace, and joy. That's who we are. The rest is all something we created on earth with limitation, separation, lack, and survival. We came here to experience that, but not to become it. Like we are in the world, but not of the world.
Interesting. You know, I know you talk about quieting the mind, right? You know, why is that important, first of all? And what is something that we can do without, you know, sitting down and meditating for hours on end? Because I know that feels really daunting to a lot of people. So
yeah, it doesn't really. One thing is to breathe deep.
Okay.
Breathe deep and breathe consciously, because you're bringing spirit into form. So when you feel stressed and you feel overwhelmed, pause, breathe deep. Just 2 or 3 times. Just connect with Source, because your connection to Spirit is through your breath. So that's one thing. And meditating is always beautiful. Meditation is my way of traveling to many dimensions and many other planets. It's a beautiful thing to do, but it doesn't have to take hours. Sometimes I'd love to meditate for hours, but it doesn't have to. I mean, just, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, once or twice a day, makes you very peaceful. Now, people tell me their mind rattles, and their mind rattles, and their mind rattles, so just concentrate on your breath. Now, the reason that's so crucial is because Spirit talks to you in silence. If you don't leave space in your day, and you don't leave space in your life, then there's no room for God to talk to you. To me, the language of God is silence. So when you're busy, active, which many of us do in this consciousness, social consciousness, and we forget to stop and breathe, then we can't connect with Source easily. We do use some meditation, especially on our third day of the intensive, to teach people to connect with Source and remember their essence and feel their essence in the physical body. But it can be, for me, it's in every moment of my life. I mean, connecting with silence and stillness to me is touching nature, which is a sanctuary of God. I also love animals. Feel the air. Let the sun touch you. Love the rain. Connect with the earth. Know that you're a part of all of this. All of this is you, and you're not separate. And to just love you in that, you don't even have to have a lot of things. You can. I like things. Be ready to let go. Be ready to share it. If you get a whole lot of money, you have to know, well, first of all, what the beauty you're going to create with this money so that God knows that you really, really want it and you're going to manifest it easily, but also that you're going to share it. Let it flow. Don't hoard it and hide it and just build it selfishly because you won't be happy. You want to be fulfilled, which means that when you receive, you also give. Love is giving and receiving. So part of it is being the silence of you, the essence of you, the stillness of you, which is one with Source. And then the other is to be able to give and receive. And when you feel like you want something, like you're lacking, let's say you're lacking something and you really want it and you're going to pray for it, or you're going to meditate for it, or you're going to visualize, absolutely follow the spiritual laws so that you can manifest easily. They're very, very clear. You want me to give some steps to that?
Of course I do.
Okay. So if you want something, this is very magical. This is so magical. Whenever you pray for something or you ask for something, always ask as though you are a whole divine being. Don't ask in desperation or in lack or poor little me. You know, I want some food to eat, because you are asking for lack and you're going to receive lack. So remember that when you ask in wholeness. You ask knowing that you're going to receive. Your prayer is answered. Your prayer is answered before you ask, actually. But when you pray and ask, or meditate and ask, to know that you're going to receive it and never, never turn back. Don't doubt it. Don't question it. You have manifested it by the asking. Your prayer is answered. Now live your life and visualize it as though it's true. If you asked for a beautiful, beautiful mansion on a hill where you wanted, 7 bedrooms and a swimming pool or a waterfall, visualize it so that you can smell it, feel it, see it. You can totally experience it in your visualization, and it's true right now. Live your life as though it's already happened, so that you are totally in it, and the universe has to bring it to you, because you are now saying, I have received it. So you are not only asking and knowing you're receiving, you're expecting it. And you're thanking God for it. You're saying, oh, thank you very much. I know I have already received it. You don't have to ask again. Your prayer is answered when you ask. Remember that. But ask in wholeness and in your divineness, knowing that you have a right to receive it and that you will and that you are. So you have to expect it and you have to be ready to receive it. Many people, because you have a low sense of self-worth, you could get $1 million, you wouldn't have a clue what to do with it. And many of them who win it in the lottery will lose it very fast because they don't know how to receive it or build it. So those are the elements of the law of expectation, the law of appreciation, the law of gratitude. They all come into play when you want to manifest what you want.
I love that. That's fantastic. As we talked about, there's a shift going on. So I know a lot of people listening, they're trying to find their way. They're trying to find their purpose, but they just feel lost. How do they start to connect with what their way is, what their purpose is, why they're here?
I say be silent, be still, and listen to the inside of you, that it's there. Now, to Soul Institute, your purpose is as easy as breathing. It is so, so easy. It's like it's you. It's what you love. It's who you are. Like, my purpose is to know and be and share love. Well, that's easy for me. I just do that by breathing. So to get really, really connected to who you are, not what your mother and father said you need to do, or, like I became a lawyer because I thought it was prestigious and powerful. I had no clue about integrity with my inner essence. To really listen to what's true for you. What do you love? What do you love to do? What do you love to be? What do you love to be around? What excites you? What's passionate for you? And it's going to be real simple and easy when it's a purpose. It's almost as easy as breathing to you. You don't have to go out and get highly educated. You don't have to do that. I mean, you could play with that in social consciousness, but you already have it. So you have to get really, really clear inside of you for the purpose. And the vision is going to be beyond that. The vision is going to be more like, what would I like to do with this purpose? And how would I like to, what is the mission? How am I going to bring it about? How am I going to make it happen? And that's what the Soul Institute is to me. In the Soul Institute, we teach unconditional love and individual freedom. That's what we teach. And so I create this structure to help me get it out. And I have, the mission is to have programs and have classes and have, flyers and have, that's the mission. How are you going to get it out? But the purpose is simple. It's very simple. It's be quiet, be still, listen to the inside of you, trust your intuition, and you know. And it comes deeply within you. Nobody can tell you that. You came here for a purpose. My guess is that one of your purposes, or you wouldn't be on Kristen's call, that one of your purposes is to know and share love. But you had listened to what's true inside of you, and then how do you go about sharing that with the world? You have to want to give back. You have to want to be a part of the whole in this dimension, in the physical.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's so powerful how you put that now, because I know there are probably people listening, and I always like to be the voice of what I think but what about this? sort
yeah.
of. Okay, so what about the people that are like, well, that sounds great, but I am buried in debt. I can't go chase my purpose. I have to chase a dollar. How do we settle into that with what seems to be reality in our face, stopping us from being able to achieve what you just said?
Okay, I would say that that's a warped reality. It's not real. What's real is the law of abundance, that even if you have a lot of debt and you're buried in debt and you can't pay your bills, that's interesting. In fact, you can make it boring if you want to. You just do what you can do and let go. And let God take it from there. You do what you can do and do not put your emphasis on making a dollar. Do not put your emphasis in lack and poverty. Don't put your emphasis there. Put your emphasis in the creation of abundance. Like, okay, I'm going to pay these bills. Don't focus on the bills. Focus on what are you going to do to manifest and create abundance. Focus there. Like, I have to focus on my vision. How am I going to attract people to come in, remember their divine essence, and do what they came here to do? I got to be it. I have to share it. I have to be out there. I have to put my energies there. If I put my energies on what I don't have and what I can't do, then believe me, I'm going to magnify that. That's what I will manifest. I will manifest the lack and the survival, because that's the energy I'm attached to. So I have these bills, and I responsibly do what I can do. If I can pay them, I pay them. If I can pay a little bit, I make an agreement to do that. If I can't pay them at all, I'm fine and at peace with that. I'm in total peace with that, while I build what's going to work for me. And lovingly build what's going to work for you with peace, love, joy, no judgment. The judgment will absolutely block the energy of money and relationship and everything happening for you. You want your emphasis to be on the creation of abundance and your vision and your mission and your purpose, while you are responsibly taking care of this social thing that you created that seems to be hanging on to you. And you just do that as responsive as you can, but don't put all your energy there. You focus there and you're going to get lack.
I love that you keep bringing up, because this is something I'm so passionate about. Don't judge yourself. It's almost like you're actually wasting your time when you judge yourself, because you're keeping yourself steeped in negative energy.
And that's exactly what people do, is they've learned that they're worthless, and they've been carrying it around like it's their identity, it's baggage on their back, and they kind of preach it rather than, so I'm in debt. Okay, so that was not I don't really want to create that one. That's not okay for me. I'll handle that the best that I can, but I'm moving on. And I'm moving into higher ground. I'm moving into remembering and knowing the kingdom of heaven that you seek is inside of you. Always. You'll never find it outside. Never. So you get connected to that part of you and create and manifest and attract from that essence of divinity. And you have to create abundance, because you are abundance. The only way we can't create abundance is if we believe in lack, and we believe that we're less than, and we believe that we're no good. Then we have to experience lack. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a vibration on this dimension. That's all. There's nothing wrong with it. And when you get tired of that, you'll go higher anyway. We're all going to end up in truth and in love anyway, and divinity, but it's just going to be a harder path until you choose to go direct.
Hmm.
If you choose to know you, to love you, to be your essence, to absolutely accept your divinity, now remember that you are the kingdom of heaven and that everything that you seek is inside of you, and remember that, and you operate from there, then you can attract lack. It won't happen. Lack won't live there. It doesn't like that vibration.
You're so you're so powerful. You know, the energy of you is just coming through. So I'm really just very, very aware of that and very appreciative of it. Now I know you have, and we do not have time to do this because it's pretty extensive. But there's an exercise that you do that helps take people from limitation to manifestation. Can you explain just a little bit about that so that we get a feel for it, even though we can't? Right. Don't you do them like all day and half day events, things like that?
I do half day events, all day events, and I do 3-day intensives. But
yeah.
Basically what we do is we get people in touch with, we put them in a very quiet state and in an altered state, and we're working with your angels and your spirit guides, so we focus right where you're stuck. And we put you in a very quiet place, and we have you focus on one or two to begin with, one or two things where you would like different results. Like, what would you really like? Do you want to have $1 million? Would you like to have a mansion in the water? You know, what do you really, really like? And then we have you look at what two things are in your way from having that. And it's usually going to be a low sense of self or a feeling that you're not good enough, something like that. But what are two things in your way? And we have to get really, really clear with that. And then once we get you in that space, and we do it so that you're expanded, so that you're really in the energy. And then we teach you how to move it out of your physical experience and keep the power that you have given it in the past, and then refill yourself with the replacing of that with something that's going to allow you to have what you want. And it's a beautiful, beautiful exercise. In fact, one of the offers that we're making you is going to help you walk through that, Kristen.
Oh, well,
yeah.
That's exciting. Okay, and good, because I want to talk about that in just a second. Before I do, I want to ask you, and I know you have, tons of people that have experienced, pretty massive turnarounds with working with you and what you teach. Are there any stories that you can share with us, one or two, that you're like, wow, this person turning this thing around is why I am here doing this. This is the exact reason. Do you have any stories you could share with us?
I do. I have a couple that are awesome, and we have this happening all the time. It's just because when you're working, it's different than working with psychology or sociology. Like, I used to be a psychotherapist before I was a lawyer. It's a different pace, but it's different because you're working with the heart, soul, and spirit, so things move deep and fast. And so I'm thinking about this one couple that were ready to get a divorce when the wife came to me. And they were in a 2 or 3 year battle, and they were at the courtroom steps ready to divorce. So she came to the intensive, and we did some work with her and teach her how to transform herself and heal herself so that she can attract what she wants. What happened with her was she changed so drastically. He was still her husband, but they'd been separated for a couple of years. He saw the changes in her, and he was so amazed that he wanted them for himself, but he didn't want to go back to her. He still wanted the fight going on, and he was in another relationship by then. But he called me up, and he said, I really want to know what she learned, because I've never seen her stand up for herself. I've never seen her so clear, and I want to learn it. So he came to the Institute with the intent of staying separate from her. Once he did the work on himself and started taking responsibility and transforming himself, they came back together, and now they have an incredible marriage. Incredible union. Now, it's not just a marriage, it's a divine union now. They've shifted it to a very high place because they both done the work. So that's an awesome one, and I love that one because I know the whole family. Their children came, their grandchildren, their mother, everybody has come to the intensive. So another one that I'm thinking about is business partners, where they were together for 22 years, and they had a very, very successful multi-million-dollar advertising firm. The two partners, the main partners, 2 of 3, just didn't get along. The one guy was a rageaholic, and the guy that didn't get along with him was passive. But they loved each other, but they had lost the connection through the business, and they just couldn't get along, and there was a lot of tension. So we worked with each of them separately and then together, and eventually all the partners came in to do some work. What happened with them was that there was a rageaholic and a passive guy. The guy who was a rageaholic was reminding the passive guy of his father, who was a rageaholic. And it would scare him to death, and he would freeze, and then and they just couldn't get along. But once they healed themselves independently and took responsibility for their own transformation, they were able to create a beautiful friendship.
it's amazing when you hear this stuff, and yet it's absolutely true. I mean, this is the stuff that's happening all the time. You were very generous, and I'll have you explain in a second, because I asked you to put something special together for everybody. So everybody right now, I highly encourage you, simply click on the special offer button on this page. So Esperanza, I will let you tell us what we'll find there.
Great, thanks a lot. What we put together for you, Kristen, is 5 products that are worth $412 or so, and we are offering you these products for $97 for all 5 of them. And I want to tell you what they are because they're magical and powerful. The first one, the meditation download, we've been in operation 20 years, was not allowed to be out except for the last 2 years, where the spiritual masters told us that the people were ready and to go ahead and let it out. This is a meditation that carries you from removing old beliefs, obstacles, and blocks at a soul level so that you can manifest what you really want easily. It's very deep. It's also very high spiritually. And then number 2 is an audio download, Peace with Money, how to create money that flows easily. Because so many people had issues with money, we created an audio download that actually walks you through the issues about money and how to make that different. And then the third one is an audio download called Bringing Heart, Soul, and Spirit into Business. And that is an interview that I did with an international women's group on how the women use their heart in business and how anybody can. So that's very educational. It's very powerful. Then there's an audio download, how to ensure that spiritual laws work for you and not against you. And that is just showing you how to work with the laws and not resist them so that they can support you. And then we're also offering a 60-minute live spiritual coaching call with me, and people just have to sign up, and that's valued at $197, and that's part of the package.
I love that, and I agree with you. I think it's such an amazing thing that you've put together for everybody. Let me ask you this, because there's 5 things in there. So if they jump into any of them, like if I said, okay, Esperanza, what could they start to see a difference in literally right away?
Well, what's going to happen if you take it really seriously and commit to the transformation and live what you're told to live, you're going to start seeing this. First of all, whatever's in your way that's blocking you or obstacles is going to come up. So you're going to have energy moving inside of you that you may not have allowed for a long time, and just love yourself through it and know that your angels and your spirit guides are right there with you helping you, because you're going to begin to let feelings move that you've been buried for a long time, and that's why you're not creating what you want. Okay, and then you're going to begin to see that money's only energy and that you're creating your experience that you have with money, and you can shift it. And we are showing you in there how to shift it, what to do about it. The spiritual laws will just define for you, you are in a universe that is spiritually based, not just socially, and that how to know those laws so that you're working within them.
I love that. And I love that you said that about money being energy, because once you realize that, I mean, I know just from personal experience and from people I've worked with, and once you realize that, you can shift that energy really quickly. I mean, it can turn around really fast. So I love that you actually just expressed that. That's fantastic. One more time, go definitely check it out. Click on the special offer button that's on this webpage, and we will take you right there. Esperanza, I know that you wanted to have us sign off and end the call in a very special way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, what we'd like to say to your audience, Kristen, is that to remember that you are a spiritual being. You're not just a physical being. That you are divine and you're whole. And that your essence, your very essence, is love, peace, joy, and freedom. That's who you are, and that's who you always are. It never, never changes. The part of you that experiences lack and fear and limitations in the physical is really just belief systems that you've put in your way. You were not intended to live a life of lack or a life of chaos or pain. That was not the intent, because the essence of you, which is always present, is a divine essence. It's love, unconditional. That's who you really are. And you can have anything that you want by birthright. You are abundant in every way. The laws are here to support you. The angels and the masters walk with you every minute of every day. You just need to ask, receive, remember your divine essence, and come from a place of love divine all the time. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Please, everybody, really listen to what she just said, because that's so powerful. Thank you, Esperanza, for everything you've shared with us today. You're just so unique and full of love, and I cannot thank you enough for being here with us today.
Thank you very much, Kristen. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a real joy for me.